Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's video. So behind me, we're going to be working on my 2001 3500 Ram, and pretty much what's going on, I got an upper ball joint on my driver's side that's been going out, and I started noticing it when I got a popping noise when I was backing out of the spot. Every time I back up and hit the brakes, it put a lot of strain on the joints, and you hear a nice solid pop. So we're going to go ahead and jack it up and get working. I bought a new one off RockAuto. It's MEVOTECH, their premium grade, whatever that means. Hopefully it's something decent that'll hang in there for a while. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get going, guys. Went ahead and got the truck up. I have a jack stand under there just in case that decides to give out. There's something to hold the spring. So here is the new one right here, this guy. And as you can see, there's actually 3 bolts right here, and this doesn't look like it's a press fit or anything, which is epic because that makes life way easier. So all we're going to do is undo these 3 bolts, and what's probably going to happen, this whole thing is going to drop down just because the spring is pushing down against the lower control arm, and the jack stands down there to catch it. And once we get that done, we can go ahead and undo that bolt right there, and once that gets done, put it back together, and in theory we should be done. So time to find out, and hopefully this is actually the problem. It's not some other magical thing that I got to figure out in the future. So let's go ahead and knock this out real quick. Alrighty, so our bolt is out. This is definitely I'm pretty sure this is our culprit. You can kind of tell the whole joint's moving up and down inside of itself, if that makes sense. So that's probably what's making all the noise. And all we got to do now is pop off this lower bolt right there, this guy, and we should be home free to pop this thing out. Fingers crossed it comes out relatively easily, but I do have a hammer in case it decides to be difficult. Definitely took a little bit of convincing. I went ahead and whacked it several times against the actual joint itself. Around this area, and then popping it up from the bottom, and finally got the old girl out. So that's about how that works. So this thing doesn't seem like too bad. It's just, I think honestly all the noise is just a cheap ball joint, definitely aftermarket, but this whole thing being able to move around up top, I think it was causing all my issues noise wise, because you can see the whole thing right there. Definitely not supposed to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and pop the new one in. Pretty straightforward process, in all honesty. Just got everything back together. As you can see, went ahead and tightened these down pretty good. I don't foresee them coming off. I do like the new design where all 3 of these bolts are kind of just stuck together, and it looks like they tack welded the bolt in the bottom of that bracket, so these aren't falling out like the old design that I just took off. And then they gave us a nice little clip right here, so I reused the old bolt on the bottom of this because this new one is freaking massive. Like, that thing's huge, and I don't have a socket out here that's big enough to fit this thing right now. So, I mean, I guess they're trying to go extra beefy, so good on them, but it's kind of inconvenient when nothing else is going to be a standard size, so I went ahead and used the old one just to make my life easier if I ever have to do this again. So let's go ahead and throw everything back together and go for a test drive and see if that did it. I do need to grease this up. It has some grease in it. I put the little grease bearing joint thing, the grease nipple, whatever you want to call it, in here. And there is grease in there right now. I want to top it off to kind of get this to bubble just a little bit so I know that it's nice and greased up and not going to wear out extra fast. So without further ado, guys, let's go put this back together and go for a test drive. gotta say, Cummins is probably the best sounding diesel ever, hands down. 5.9. It's on point. It's only too bad they're in a newer. So let's go ahead and do reverse real quick and see if she makes any funny noises. Oh, she's still making funny noises. So that kind of sucks, guys. It's definitely still there. It is not as bad as it was, but there's still a weird, like, creaky, poppy noise going on when I'm turning. I almost guarantee it's probably another one of the ball joints. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually change out the rest of them. I just need to buy them first and wait for them to come in. So bottom 2 ball joints and the top on the passenger side. This is a very easy job. It's honestly faster and probably easier than even giving this truck a wash. So it's not like it's a big deal, it's just a matter of waiting for them to come in now. I thought I could get away with the one. Obviously that's not the case. So we'll go ahead and knock out the rest and call it a day. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you learned something in this video. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments and I'll get back to you. And keep on the lookout for the next one, so stay subscribed or whatever. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one, and I appreciate it. Have a good day.